It's a rollout dummy. Donald Glover has been active this week. He shared the stage with Tyler, the Creator, at Coachella. He released episode 1 of Gilga Radio with unreleased music and news about 2 new upcoming albums he has on the way. His final as Childish Gambino. What's up, y'all? I'm Devon here again for Obligatory. We do a weekly music news segment on this channel every Friday. Today is April 19th, 2024, and we got a few things to talk about, but mainly Donald Glover here and his final 2 albums. So, yes, Childish Gambino is rolling out a pair of albums. One is a new album, one is a re-release of 31520 under its original title of Atta Vista.
We finished it. It's Atta Vista. We're putting that out. But then after that, there's a Childish Gambino album, the final Childish Gambino album.
So you might have remembered 315 came out and it had no album title, no song titles, no album cover. It was just music, which is definitely a novel idea for today's music listening landscape. What we kind of realize there is those things are essential to some music listeners in keeping this album fresh in our minds, remembering what song titles were called, and having sort of an image to define the album by. With that, Donald has kind of recently conceded to the idea that a re-release of the album in actual song titles and a cover and a vinyl release might be what this album needed. When that album releases, you can also expect a couple new or updated songs on the track list, namely Human Sacrifice, which is a song that's been long rumored and leaked out there on the internet as a song that was recorded in the same sessions as 315 but did not make the album. The song Littlefoot Bigfoot, which you may remember from 31520, is getting an updated version with a Young Nudie verse attached to it. Donald also said during the interview portion of this Gilga Radio episode that this song was getting a music video release in a couple of weeks. So that there gives us a little bit of a time frame to go off of with the Atta Vista release. Now, none of these dates for any of these details have been confirmed, so we're still kind of guessing and we have to wait and see. But the way that things are moving along quickly, it does feel like a sooner rather than later situation. But again, we don't know. So that's the info we were able to glean from album release number 1, which is the re-release of 31520. Album number 2 is also a Childish Gambino album, but the way that Donald tells it, it's a soundtrack for a movie he's working on titled Bando Storm and the New World, which is a project we know very few details about right now. So I forgot to mention that during the Gilga Radio episode, they played a straight up new unreleased song. At least I haven't heard it yet, but it was a good song and it sounded like something that might come up off of this second album. Also, Maul from New Rory and Maul says Kendrick Lamar's got an album coming in May. Huh? He also said that this particular piece of work is dedicated to his fans as a thank you to them. So maybe he sees it as a crowd-pleasing or a fan-servicey album thus far. He also went on to talk about a little bit more, reiterate his state of mind in releasing 315 and some of the decisions as to why it didn't have those track titles. And the interview does cover quite a bit of ground, and over the course of this whole episode, you get a lot. So I want to give a shout out to Reddit user Greg Serafian, I know I fucked that up. This post came up in the r/Donald Glover subreddit, and it gives a really good detailed outline of everything that happened throughout the entire music episode. So all the music that was played, just about everything that was covered in the interview, and all these little ad reads and things in there as well. Next, we got to talk about some Coachella bullshit. There was some bullshit and there was some good shit. We'll talk about the bullshit first. Grimes had some technical difficulties, and you probably saw that in some video wherever on the internet, but Grimes performed about half of her set before she ran into some technical difficulties, namely her songs were playing twice as fast as normal. And in that moment, she was not able to fix it or at least adjust to that. She completely lost her cool. Instead of saying, fuck it, the show must go on, she panicked and she starts trying to fix her equipment live on stage. There's no music playing. Every once in a while, she's talking to the fans about what's going on. People are leaving and she honestly looks incompetent, and it's just a terrible look for her and for Coachella. And honestly, that was bad enough, but her apology and explanation that she offered on Twitter honestly, for me, made it even worse. Like, at the end of the day, it's really just you that goes up there and looks bad if things don't go well. And so to be talking to your fans on Twitter about record box and BPMs and CDJs, some of us might care about that, but I guarantee very, very few of us actually care. And then she's low-key shifting the blame to her team, who she hired and who she pays to help her. Just say it won't happen again and don't let it happen again. And then Blur, the UK band that features Damon Albarn as its lead vocalist, shout out the Gorillaz, they had a pretty bad time at Coachella as well. And this exposes another interesting thing about music festivals, and particularly Coachella, that I think is a flaw sometimes, is the crowds that are actually showing up at the stage are not always your fan base there. They might be waiting for another person that plays after you, right? But you see them performing, and Damon Albarn is basically getting pissed at the crowd for not engaging with the music and basically just questioning why he's even there while he's on stage, saying things like, "We're never coming back here again, so you might as well sing." Now, the ironic thing is they're going to have to come back for week 2, but I imagine after their obligations are filled with Coachella 2024, they will not be back for Coachella 2025. Now, the best thing that happened to Coachella week 1 was Tyler, the Creator. And in my estimation, he might have saved Coachella week 1. We might have seriously been having a conversation because not only did he bring out a bunch of awesome guests, not only did he produce the stage with an amazing set design, but he shows up and shows out and gives people their money's worth, what they paid to see. I don't know if anything you see there is quite worth that amount of money, but he is the closest thing to it, at least this year. Now, like I said, he did bring out Childish Gambino to perform Running Out of Time, and that was the biggest surprise because other people that came out, like Charlie Wilson, A$AP Rocky, Kali Uchis, they came out for songs that they were featured on. And so again, just that little cherry on top of something that Tyler brought to this performance that you weren't going to get anywhere else. It truly was that once-in-a-lifetime sort of experience. Tyler also kind of randomly volunteered on stage that he used to hate Childish Gambino for like whatever reason, basically no reason. And now they're friends. And it kind of got me thinking about like, what if Tyler and Bruno Mars ended up in the same room? What are they going to talk about? How does that interaction go? A couple other quick stories I want to mention here. Isaiah Rashad announced more Cilvia Demo 10-year anniversary shows. So if you missed him or he didn't come to your city, he's doing some more tour dates over the summer. Also, pre-orders for a book based on the cultural impact of De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising, a book written by Marcus J. Moore, are on sale. This is something we talked about in previous episodes. If this was a book that you were interested in when we mentioned it, it is officially on sale now. Marcus J. Moore, also, we mentioned last week, he recently hosted the keynote speaking event that you might have seen Earl Sweatshirt answering some questions at. And then Weyes Blood shared the Lost music video for the song Andromeda off of Titanic Rising for the album's 5th year anniversary, which, wow, cannot believe that's already 5 years old. Moving on to the notable new releases and editors' picks from this week of new releases, there is quite a bit to take a look at. Obviously, this is not the full list of new music that dropped this week. We drop that full list on our Instagram @Obligatory every week on Friday as well. These are the songs, the singles, and the albums that either I am paying attention to or the Obligatory team is kind of recommending to y'all to check out. Albums announced this week, it was a pretty good one. Party Next Door, Cassandra Jenkins and Body Meat. Anicia next week, a new Slum Village album that I think we should be excited about. Albums releasing next week, definitely a mixed bag. Like I said, Party Next Door, Anicia, but also AG Club, St. Vincent, Justice. And then albums releasing in May, it's already looking like a really good month. Sia, Mdou Mokhtar, Kamasi Washington, Dua Lipa, and Slum Village albums the first week. Later on in the month, we got Rhapsody, Billie Eilish, Beth Gibbons, Igloo Ghost, 21 Pilots, and probably more things to be announced. Rest of the year, it's a little down the road at this point, but we got Charlie XCX, No Worries, Hiatus Coyote, and a bunch more stuff to look forward to in the long term. And that is all we have for the news stories, the new releases, and upcoming albums of the week. If you like being kept up to date on new music and music news, click on the like button. Dropping a comment on this video is a great way to make sure we show up in your feed next Friday when we drop this video again. We are working on some new videos and some new content for you guys, so sit tight and we'll be back soon, all right? Thanks again for watching and peace out.